Hello and welcome everyone back to another episode of NikoDyz Plays this war review. I apologize for the hiatus. It's been well over a month, and so the short of it, I guess, was well, I was starting to do more regular stuff on Twitch, and I got raided by OMG, which was awesome. Got tons of follows, and he subscribed me, and it felt like the ball was just getting rolling, and then I got the plague. So yeah, I had COVID. I'm obviously fine. I had it for about a month. It was pretty bad. I had to cancel my flight, so I'm still in Central America. But anyway, that's kind of what happened there. So I've been trying to stream again, but it is kind of hard to get going once you've been off for so long. So I figured let's do a war review and see what's going on here. All right, starting off is Peta Chip. So this is a bit of a dated footage. She's normally saving these kind of teams for better teams right now, but I wanted to show it off while I kept telling her I was going to, damn it, and I'm gonna do it now. So as you can see here, now they're much bigger, but then at the time with minimal investment, she was able to do a 250k punch up against one of the better defense teams. Again, this is a bit dated. This is pre-plague, so either way, this is a good use of resources, so good job, Peta. This has been so long ago, I don't even remember what was going on here. Here's the thing, guys, like going back like over a year ago when Asgardians were the best team on defense, XMen was the best one to use against them, and I used to love doing punch-ups. I had like this really big phoenix. This is before promotion credits and all that was more readily available. So anyway, the problem now is that everyone has like a G15 Hella because they brought it for Dark Dimension 4, and a lot of them use them on Doom raids. The only one on this team here that is doing any damage is her. He can do great damage, but G13 86k, don't misunderstand me. I understand why this player didn't max out his Cyclops, but I'm just saying that she's the only one doing any damage. That means, and every time she attacked, she kept killing Gregs. So I don't feel like I should have to say this, but yeah, X-Men's not a counter to use against his team. Especially these days how everyone has lopsided ones and just a big Hella. Yeah, so these all died instantly. This player's like, haha, I got this, and then, yeah, don't do this. Here's the thing with symbiotes. First off, I've never seen these ISOs, to be honest. Anyway, that's hardly the point. Everybody has a giant symbiote team. At least 600k because they gotta use them for Doom, right? That's just basically how it is. At our level of play, it's unavoidable. And realistically, you're not gonna find an 800k as Guardians or Doc Ock or something that you could use as a counter. So I get this team, you know, you wanna throw it at something, but I mean, come on. This is a 400k. I mean, this Captain Marvel isn't even that scary. I do appreciate that he like put all these resources in, even though he had low red stars. I think that's awesome. You could have thrown anything on this team and it would have won. This is one of the worst teams on defense. Sorry, Captain Marvel. So yeah, gross misuse of resources. If this would have been a 400k Doc Ock, I would have been like, whatever, right? Because the same teams that when you could use power armor to successfully beat this one, no problem. You could use Fantastic Four with Namor. I'm purposely naming old meta to prove my point. You could use Supernatural and punch up on this team, right? But those teams I just named, you probably wouldn't want to quite use on Doc Ock. So you need to think about it like that. I know that there's the pressure to get attacking and get going, but please guys, think a little bit better and try to get better matchups. Unless you're against me. Mr. Free to Play. Kind of what my point. I mean, this is a 300k punch down, but I mean, there's no Shang-Chi here, at least. But you can't throw any of those teams I just mentioned against this team and expect to get a win. So he threw this in, got us a win that saved our players from wasting a good team. You know, you might have a player who has a 500k Infinity Wallet without Adam Warlock, who thinks, well, I guess I'll have to use it on this team. Well, Mr. Free to Play saved us from having to do that. So yeah, to me, this is a better use of resources. And Mr. Free to Play again. Yeah, this was like, to me, this was like, I was like, what the hell is going on here? For both sides. Okay, first off, this asshole doesn't have heroes for hire. Fair enough, right? I get it. I not really, but I'm online. No, okay, seriously. I get that not everybody wants to work on their war defense, right? But like, how do these two complement this team in any way? They're hoping that the player will overestimate this team and waste a good meta team, or they'll underestimate it and get them a win. Right? And then like Mr. Free to Play answers in turn by using like another one of those, what the hell is going on here? Well, you know what? He used his defenders plus Squirrel Girl on offense and got a win. So I guess this is good. All right. This is like the Mr. Free to Play show here. Okay, well, I mean, this is a punch down. Well, first off, this team sucks because of the strife. I was like, is this my team? Like, if you especially such a weak strife like this, it takes nothing to punch through it. The team is gonna melt, right? I'm not suggesting that you max out your strife right now. There are way too many other mutants, but these are the facts. So as scary as this team looks, it really isn't, right? Moreover, Doombots feeding them speed bars, these easy kills, yeah, they probably didn't get many turns. You can do punch-ups on these type of teams with Doom. You don't necessarily need to punch down, not to take away from Mr. Free to Play's win. 60k punch down, but this was in the beginning of war, so we kind of need to get going, right? All right, so this is the problem, guys. I talk about this a lot. When you leave one character alive, you forced your team, yourself or your team, to use a meta team to take them out. You aren't gonna take him. I mean, look at this team. I mean, first off, these ISOs, like, what is going on here with these ISOs? Like, why do these two have healer? Like, this doesn't make any sense to me. But regardless, look at the small, like, this is like one of the best characters in the game right now. I know that there's some asshole who's like, Kestrel's better, Silver, like, one of the better characters in the game. 187k, they have the barracks, they have the med bay, so the health pool, it's blue ISO, like, this is huge health pool. And some of these characters are 3 times smaller than him. That means no one is going to do any damage to him. The only way that you can beat this kind of a team like that is if you have like somebody with ability block, and she does. But if that didn't work, then GG. And even then, if that worked, I don't think they have the damage output to take it, and that it clearly showed. So yeah, this was a waste of an attack, guys. You need to think smarter than that. You can't expect a 56k power character to do damage to 187k one of the best characters in the game. Fortunately, there was a lot of fails on my end. A lot of weird attacks. This was one of them, where I'm sitting here looking at this like, okay, this looks like an attack team, right? I use Extron regularly. Or used to anyway. I don't so often anymore, but I mean, this is a pretty attack team. I don't know why this Colossus doesn't have any ISO at all. I don't know why she has Fortifier. You want her to die so she turns into Dark Phoenix. So he tried to punch up 80k. I mean, first off, I don't know what is going on with this defense team. Like, okay, you put these two together. That seems like a bit of a waste. Throw him on there. All right, I guess. It seems wasteful. You could make 3 attack teams out of these 3 characters, right? That any one of these characters, you could, you feel your supernatural doesn't have enough oomph, drop one of them and put one of these on. It'll work a lot better, right? Or your Fantastic Four, or your XMen, right? Any one of these, it'll make it better. So to put them all on defense, it's like you're begging for someone to like use like a Black Order, and you use a Black Order to take out these two. I think that's worth it, right? Or your Shadowlands, like, you'll get a good win here. But then, like, what is Mordo doing here? And what is his G14? Like, he invested resources in her. Why is she on this team for defense? Why isn't she with like Uncle Grandpa? I don't understand. Yeah, he got the win, but only because this player sucks. So was it worth it? All right, Magic My Code. I am a little confused when I see a team like this as well, because it's the same kind of feeling. Now, X-Men need Phoenix to be good, but Phoenix isn't an X-Men. This much is true. And Deathpool doesn't quite have a home yet, so that's fine. But the thing that gets me about this team is, like, this looks like a mishmash of like 4 different teams, and this one kind of too. I mean, to me, this one begs somebody to use Inhumanes to take it out, right? So I feel like this is a bit overkill, but this is also meant to be tricky. That you might think, oh, I'll just bring in my Inhumanes, you only have your Black Bolt built up, like most people, and you bring in the rest of the chumps, and they all get tossed, and then it's GG. I feel like this was a bit overkill. This would have been one of those good times where I think you ask your mates, you ask for some help. instead of cutting them up, but he got a win, so let's count that. All right, Brundle Fly, what do you got? A slight punch up. He only has, out of the Secret Avengers, as of the recording of this, only has him. Kestrel there, obviously, right? But you can see the synergy between all of these, right? He gets to blast someone to hell early on. He's going to bring more minions. She's going to put defense down. He's going to get the speed bar. This is a tricky team to win, and I've seen people use Black Order and fail on this, on punch downs even, because in the end it boils down to the Doom. When you have a team like this that has turn manipulation, right, mainly his speed bar up, and all the damage that happens with her defense down, yeah, it's a good win. So good job, Brundle Fly. Okay, guys, so when Wave 1 Avengers was first on defense, I think a lot of people were underestimating it. And then it got figured out. Quick and easy counter for it is using Brotherhood 2. The problem is that if Black Widow has her specialty forward, she's going to cleanse a debuff every time she uses that special. With that in mind, it's going to get rid of blinds, going to get rid of bleeds, and then all of a sudden it just doesn't work as good. I mean, the Brotherhood depends on them taking all that damage from the bleeds and the blinds and the heal blocks and all that. So this isn't really a war defense team, but when you're trying to punch up 140k and like guarantee you that she has that special, like T4, guarantee it, right? Moreover, look at this enormous Punisher, who his ult probably wrecked. Like this, these guys are so squishy. Like this was never gonna win. His ult probably killed them all, let alone everyone else's damage. So yeah, don't feed the enemy wins, guys. All right, Blasius. I haven't seen something like this in a while. This is a 100k punch up, right? G14 a bunch of them. I'm assuming that this was from before, but this gets win, guys. It gets good wins. Basically want to ability block Emma, and then you want to get a disrupt on him and then take her out. Well, good job, Blasius. Our hero. What do I have? Remember I was saying about how my Strife sucks? I wasn't kidding, right? But then like, he put the Doom, he put the Kestrel, he put the Cap, he put, like, again, you could make like 4 good attack teams out of this, and he wasted it to take out probably the worst Emma Marauder team we have on defense. So I don't know what was the thought process here, especially with how weak my team is. He probably could have just brought maybe Kestrel and Silver, these two together, probably would have, and then whoever else they wanted to throw on there. But yeah, put Fury and put 2 other minions and they'll get a win, right? But just overkill, goodness. Anubis. So this took me a few, like, I had to look at this a few times. Like, I was like, did he punch up with Asgardians? Like, but no, they used power armor plus Taskmaster on 100k punch down, and they took out Hela. That they did, but at what cost? They could have put Ultron on, they probably would have won, right? I don't know what the logic was with Taskmaster. I mean, if you're gonna G14 your Taskmaster, you would think that he'd have some kind of a mercenary team. I mean, even a 400k mercenary team on defense, yeah, it's easy enough to counter, but somebody has to use a team against it. You can't just slap it together nobodies to get a win. So honestly, guys, when you're using defense characters on offense, you're probably messing up. There are some exceptions, but like, considering how easy this team is to counter these days, you don't need to come up with your own lame team and then like fail on a punch down and then get cyberbullied online for it. All right, so Undertaker here with the Brotherhood 2. Right, so if you look at this logic, XMen was created specifically to counter Brotherhood. So you think, okay, and then you think for a 5th, Ultron, right? I like to think that he misclicked, like, you know, Ultimus Ultron, it was close. Use Ultron because he's got speed bar rewind on his little Chadstons, which works against Doom. And I don't know what he thought was going to happen here. Maybe he thought, I mean, Ultimus is good for taking out one of the tanks, but these aren't particularly built up. No disrespect to Undertaker. I don't know what he thought was going to win to take out Doom, because it's a small Doom, but none of them have the power to do it themselves. He has an awesome AoE, but it's not going to cut it. And he's going to full heal himself and just probably wipe them all out at that point. So yeah, another one of those teams where I had to kind of look at it back and forth and I'd be like, who attacked who? But so Onyx on defense, he's got his death pool hanging out with the brawlers. It's not a bad idea at all by any stretch. You probably should have America Chavez on there, Onyx. She gives a lot of health to the other brawlers, so just something to consider. And I drop Miles in that regard, but anyway, the enemy is like Wakanda, Deathpool, Ultra's Doom. Like, you could have taken, like, okay, not these two, because they're kind of, I mean, somebody obviously loves Shuri. You can see that right here, right? But like, I dare say that if you had Deathpool with 4 other characters, you could probably pull a win off. I mean, they just have a big Deathpool and a big Captain Marvel, but not really anything overly scary. If you put Ultron with 4 other mooks, you get that Ultron train going, you're gonna wipe him out. Maybe you wouldn't want to do that with Deathpool, but if you took her out first, or if you could take her out first, it'd be fine. Doom, definitely put him with any 4 mooks and you're gonna win, right? But then like, and this is at the beginning of the war. This is at the end, and you want to slap together something to hopefully pull off a win. That's fine. But in the beginning, was this one of it? Like, I like to think that this guy has this on his, teams. This is already set up, ready to go. And he's like, oh, sweet. I can finally use my Doom, Wakanda, Deathpool, Ultron team. Yeah. Alrighty, and that's where we're going to call it there. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. I'm starting to stream more regularly. I'm doing Monday and Friday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific. I am streaming for about an hour and a half to 2 hours to coincide with wartime and such. I'm also going to be streaming Sunday nights, more of a chill stream, doing Blitz and such. I did put a hiatus for those YouTube videos that I had planned as well. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. I think I'm going to continue with the RimWorld thing, but let me know what you want to see in the comments down below. And I appreciate everybody who watches, so thank you very much and have a good night.